The time is now for millions of people all across this country to stand up for justice.
We do not accomplish any of that unless we have the courage to do what has not been done.
Why are you worried about his hair? Look at my hair. They're not going to worry about his hair.
Top 10, I got a top 10. Got my motivation high for my top 10. Gotta learn from the wise women and men. All my life, like 9 and 9. For my top 10, top 10, 9 and 9. This one's for my top 10.
Need motivation?
Watch a top 10 with Believe Nation.
Hey, it's Evan Carmichael, and this channel was created to help you overcome the #1 challenge that is holding you back, a lack of belief in yourself. You watch these videos because you know there's something more inside you too. You have Michael Jordan level talent at something. So get ready to be fair to others, stand up for what you believe, and have good role models with Bernie Sanders and my take on his top 10 rules of success to give you the confidence, motivation, and belief that you need. Enjoy. Okay, let's kick it off with rule number 1. Be fair to others.
Let me take a moment, or a few moments, to tell you what motivates me in the work that I do as a public servant, as a senator from the state of Vermont. And let me tell you that it goes without saying, I am far from being a perfect human being, but I am motivated by a vision which exists in all of the great religions, in Christianity, in Judaism, in Islam, in Buddhism, and other religions. And that vision is so beautifully and clearly stated in Matthew 7:12. And it states, "So in everything, do to others what you would have them do to you. For this sums up the law and the prophets." That is the golden rule. Do unto others what you would have them do to you. That is the golden rule, and it is not very complicated. Amos 5:24. "But let justice roll on like a river, righteousness like a never-failing stream." Justice, treating others the way we want to be treated. Treating all people, no matter their race, their color, their stature in life, with respect and with dignity.
Rule number 2, stand up for what you believe.
What advice do you have for young people who have a passion for politics and potentially want to pursue careers in politics and public service?
This is my advice, okay? I don't like the word passion for politics. What I prefer is, and you got to go into your own heart on this one, passion for justice, okay? I have talked to a lot of people. You know, when you're a senator, you talk to a lot of people. And kids come up to me and they say, "Oh, I want to be a governor, I want to be president, I want to be a senator." And that doesn't interest me at all. What interests me is when somebody tells me they're concerned about the healthcare crisis in America, or they're concerned about poverty. How can they do something about that? There are a lot of ways you can do it. One of the ways is running for office, not the only way. We're raising the minimum wage to $15 an hour, not because of political decisions. It started with grassroots activism, actually. Then politics kicked in. So I would say, to answer your question, is number 1, go into your gut. Go into your gut. And that's not necessarily easy. What do you believe? What do you really believe? Think about it. It's not something you'll know right away. What are your passions? Do you have the courage to stand up to people who want to reject you and push you around? Okay? And if you have those qualities, jump in. I mean, politics and getting involved, it's been, to me, an extraordinary ride. When I was mayor of Burlington, you know what we did? We literally broke down the door of City Hall. We almost literally did that. We took on an entire establishment, which, by the way, to answer the question, was a Democratic party, and we took them, pushed them aside. We brought hundreds and hundreds of people into the political process. We started programs for young people, for old people, for women, in the environment, for the arts. It was an extraordinary experience with just so much excitement, so much energy. All right, it was a lot of fun. But the main thing you have to do, don't do it if you're just thinking about it in a career. You follow what I'm saying? Yeah. Think about it as a mechanism, one way that you can bring change to this world. And if that's what you want, go for it and have the guts to stand up and fight for what you believe in.
Rule number 3, judge people by who they are.
Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., who you know is one of not only the great American leaders, but one of the great leaders in this world in modern times, he made the statement that we judge people not by the color of their skin, but by their character as human beings, who they are as human beings. And together in the UK, Europe, and in the United States, we must stand up and oppose any effort to start scapegoating people, to start tearing humanity apart based on religion or countries of national origin. We have got to focus on the real problems facing our planet and not let demagogues in the United States or any place else divide us up.
Rule number 4, fix the root of the problem.
If you got a leaky bucket, okay, you can keep pouring water into it and keep it half full, all right? If you have a dysfunctional healthcare system, you can come up with a program that adds more people to healthcare, and that's okay. But you got to get to the root of the problem. What's the root of the problem?
Also, if you want to have more confidence and self-love, check out my 254 series. They're free. The links to join are in the description below.
You can't control how lucky you are, although the more you work, the luckier you get.
Most PhDs tell me I can't write. Yes, I said I can't write, but I can sell.
I always did everything back-ass half-words. You know, I like to challenge myself.
Rule number 5, have good role models.
I know what it's like to be in a family that lives paycheck to paycheck. Now, it is true, I did not have a father who gave me millions of dollars to build luxury skyscrapers, casinos, and country clubs. I did not come from a family that gave me a $200,000 allowance every year beginning at the age of 3. As I recall, my allowance was 25 cents a week. But I had something more valuable. I had the role model of a father who had unbelievable courage in journeying across an ocean with no money in his pocket to start a new and better life.
Rule number 6, stand up for justice.
This campaign is about, uniquely, is a political revolution. And what that political revolution is about is saying that the time is now for millions of people all across this country to stand up for justice, stand up for economic justice, racial justice, social justice, and environmental justice.
Rule number 7, ask the right questions.
I think, and I've said this a million times, that it is more important to ask the right questions than to give the right answers. In other words, you can ask me some dumb question in the news today. It's awesome, you go on TV, what's in the news today? And we'll ask you, and maybe you give the right answer or the wrong answer. But it is much more important to ask the right questions.
Rule number 8, think big.
When I think about why I am optimistic about the future, I believe that in my country, the young people, and I believe that it's true all over the world, have a very different vision of where this world should go than do current leaders all over the planet. And young people in my country are the least discriminatory generation in the history of this country. They're well beyond racism and sexism and homophobia. And they are prepared to think big, which is what we need to do, and not small. They're prepared to imagine a very different kind of world with different types of relationships between peoples than currently exist.
Rule number 9, have courage.
And to a large degree, what our campaign is about. It's not just fighting for Medicare for all. It's not just about raising the minimum wage to a living wage. It's not just about combating climate change. It's not just about making public colleges and universities tuition free. What it is about, and I think we are unique, and I think that's where the word democratic socialist comes in, is understanding that we do not accomplish any of that unless we have the courage to do what has not been done.
And rule number 10, the last one before a very special bonus clip, is have fun.
Good. Got hair like right there. Where's the hair and makeup? There we go. Can you fix here? I'm sorry. It's very obvious.
Is it shine?
No,
You know what? I think he's a great commentator. I think it's a great discussion, even though his hair
I
is
really apologize. And then there's this here.
all over America. People will say, my God, that hair? What's going on with American democracy? Anyway, why are you worried about his hair? Look at my hair. They're not going to worry about his hair.
Now I've got a special bonus clip from Bernie on how to know where you came from that I think you're going to enjoy. But before that, it's time for the 3-point landing questions. Let's go from just watching a video to taking action. Here we go. Question number 1. Where do you need to have more courage? Number 2, who are 3 good role models that you look up to? And number 3, where do you need to stand up for what you believe? And if you made it this far in a video and you commit that you're gonna take action, we don't just watch videos here, we do something, give me a hashtag believe down in the comments below because I want to celebrate you.
As we launch this campaign for president, you deserve to know where I came from, because family history obviously heavily influences the values that we develop as adults. I was born literally a few miles away from here on East 26th Street in Kings Highway. And my family and I lived in a 3.5-room rent-controlled apartment. My father was a paint salesman who worked hard his entire life, but never made much money. And my mother raised my brother and me. I learned a great deal about immigration as a child because my father came from Poland at the age of 17 without a nickel in his pocket, without knowing one word of English. He came to the United States to escape the crushing poverty that existed in his community and to escape widespread anti-Semitism. And it was a good thing that he came to this country because virtually his entire family was wiped out by Hitler and Nazi barbarism. I am not going to tell you that I grew up in a home of desperate poverty. That would not be true. But what I will tell you is that coming from a lower middle-class family, I will never forget about how money, or really lack of money, was always a point of stress in our family. My mother's dream was that someday our family would move out of that rent-controlled apartment to a home of our own. That dream was never fulfilled. She died young while we still lived in that rent-controlled apartment. My experience as a child living in a family that struggled economically powerfully influenced my life and my values. I know where I came from. And that is something I will never forget.
If you want to see the top 10 I did on Michael Bloomberg, check out the video right there next to me. I think you'll enjoy it. Continue to believe, and I'll see you there.
Make sure you're the first one in there every day and the last one to leave. Don't ever take a lunch break or go to the bathroom. You keep working. You never know when that opportunity is going to come along.